The sound of dripping water echoed in the darkness, slow, rhythmic, and hauntingly hollow. The flashlight flickered once, then died. And in that suffocating silence, 5 friends realized something terrifying. The cave was breathing. Ethan's voice trembled. Did anyone else hear that? His whisper bounced off the walls, coming back distorted, like the cave itself was mocking him. They had entered the hollow ridge caverns just before sunset, a labyrinth of tunnels that locals called the mouth of the earth. No one had been officially allowed inside for years, not after what had happened to the last group who tried. But curiosity is louder than fear. Hours earlier, everything had felt like an adventure. Laughter filled the air, flashlights danced across the stone walls, and every step deeper felt like a victory. But now the air was too still. The temperature had dropped sharply, and the walls seemed to close in, pulsing with each heartbeat. It was no longer an exploration, it was a descent into something alive, something ancient. Mia, the most cautious of the group, kept glancing at the narrow passage behind them. "We should turn back," she said. "It's getting tighter." "No," said Ryan, the group leader, brushing off her fear with a nervous laugh. "We're almost at Chamber 7. The old maps said there's something incredible down there, something no one's ever seen, but none of them knew the truth." Chamber 7 wasn't marked on any official map, it was whispered about in local legends. The villagers said the cave ate those who reached its final chamber. Some said you could hear voices of the lost begging, crying, warning. Others said it wasn't a cave at all, but a wound in the earth that never healed. They crawled deeper, their knees scraping against sharp rock, sweat mixing with the fine dust that made the air thick and bitter. The tunnel narrowed until they had to push their backpacks ahead of them. Panic started to creep in slow and invisible, like a cold mist rising from below. Then the scream, it wasn't loud, it wasn't human, it was deep and wet, like the earth itself groaning. Ethan froze, his body trembling uncontrollably. "Tell me that was the wind," he whispered, but there was no wind this deep underground. Their lights flickered again, and for a moment, the walls appeared to move, bulging and retreating like lungs, inhaling and exhaling. Mia dropped her flashlight, and in that split second before it hit the ground, she saw something, a handprint, smeared into the rock. But it wasn't old, it was wet. They scrambled forward, desperate to find a wider chamber, a space to breathe. Finally, the tunnel opened into a vast hollow, its ceiling lost in shadow. The floor shimmered faintly, not with water, but with bones. Thousands of them, human and animal, piled and crushed into a pale layer that cracked beneath their feet. In the middle stood an opening, a hole within the cave floor, perfectly circular, black as death. From it came a soft hum, almost melodic, like something beneath was whispering to them. Ryan, obsessed with discovery, took a step forward. "Don't," Mia hissed, grabbing his arm. But he was drawn in, eyes wide with something between wonder and madness. "Can't you feel it?" he murmured. "It's calling." Ethan's breathing grew fast. "We have to go back, now." But when they turned, the tunnel they came through was gone. The rock had shifted, sealed. The air grew heavy, thick enough to choke. Their lights flickered one final time, then went out completely. Darkness, the kind of darkness that feels alive, pressing against your skin, crawling into your lungs. And then the whispering began, dozens of voices murmuring from the walls. Some sounded like children, others like old men gasping their last breath. The words were impossible to understand, but the tone was unmistakable, warning. Ryan moved closer to the hole, as if in a trance. "They want us to see," he said. "Ryan, stop," Mia cried, but it was too late. He knelt at the edge and shined his backup light down into the pit. What he saw made him drop it instantly. The beam illuminated hundreds of faces, distorted, screaming, frozen in the stone itself, eyes wide, mouths open. Not carved, not painted, fossilized, as if the rock had swallowed them mid-scream. The humming grew louder, vibrating through the ground, through their bones. The temperature rose sharply. The smell of sulfur filled the air. Ethan stumbled backward, clutching his chest. "The cave's moving," he yelled. The walls began to twist. The ceiling cracked, sending showers of dust raining down. The whispering turned to shrieks. Mia grabbed Ryan's arm, trying to pull him back, but he didn't move. His eyes were rolled back, mouth open in silent awe. "It's beautiful," he whispered, and then he was gone, swallowed whole by the darkness. The remaining three screamed his name, but the cave answered with echoes that didn't belong to them. The ground split, lightless and hungry, and they ran blindly, desperately feeling their way through the trembling corridors. No one remembers how they escaped. They only remember waking up at the cave's mouth hours later, their clothes torn, their flashlights melted, their throats raw from screaming. Ryan was never found, and sometimes late at night, when the wind passes through Hollow Ridge, the villagers swear they hear him still calling from beneath the earth, still exploring, still trapped inside the most uncomfortable cave the world has ever known.